April 21st, 1671. The world is at a turning point. The Renaissance had given way to the scientific revolution, with physicists like Galileo and Newton challenging our understanding of the universe. The 30 Years' War raged, reshaping political and religious landscapes, while the age of exploration continued to expand European influence globally. Amidst the grand palaces and lavish courts, cultural movements like Baroque art flourished, reflecting the era's complexities. Yet in the city of Edinburgh is born a man who is about to revolutionize the world of finance and economics. This is the story of John Law, the man who gambled with an entire nation's fortune. Dive into a world of economic intrigue, where paper money was born, speculative bubbles burst, and fortunes were made and lost overnight. Discover the lessons from history's first major stock market crash, and the man who, for a moment, held the fate of France in his hands. This is the tale of ambition, innovation, and the unpredictable dance of economics. In the picturesque landscapes of Scotland, where the delicate chime of goldsmiths' hammers echoed through the streets, a boy named John Law was born. His family's history was deeply rooted in religious service and the intricate art of goldsmithing, yet John's destiny was to be anything but ordinary. Lauriston Castle, a grand Scottish mansion, stood as a testament to the Law family's prosperity. Here, amidst the laughter of children and the meticulous work of a goldsmith, John's early life unfolded. But as the times changed, so did the role of goldsmiths. They weren't just creators of beautiful jewelry, they were the pillars of the economy, dealing in money and shaping the financial landscape. Yet the young and ambitious John Law was drawn to a different world. The vibrant and bustling streets of London, with its intoxicating mix of gambling dens and elite gatherings. As he delved deeper into this world, his family's hard-earned legacy dwindled piece by piece. By the tender age of 21, the weight of his debts became unbearable. Desperation led him to pen a heartfelt plea to his mother, suggesting the unthinkable, to sell their beloved Lauriston Castle. But just when it seemed like John's story was headed for tragedy, a new chapter began. In the quiet corners of grand libraries, John immersed himself in the emerging sciences of probability and economics. Gambling transformed in his eyes. It wasn't just a pastime, it was an intricate dance of numbers and risks, and John was determined to lead. His newfound knowledge made him a force to be reckoned with in the gambling world. From the strategic games of Faro to the complexities of Bassi, John's skills were unparalleled. And as he played, he also networked, weaving himself into the very fabric of London's influential elite. But John's interests didn't stop at the gambling table. In scholarly halls and amidst heated debates, he delved into the mysteries of economics. London, in its grandeur, was facing a pressing issue, a dire shortage of cash. And John, with his insatiable curiosity, sought to understand the very essence of money. Throughout history, societies have traded using various items, from the simplicity of eggs to the beauty of shells. But the physical form of money was just one piece of the puzzle. At its core, money was about trust. It was a promise that the value of today's trade would be honored in the future. In the ancient world, the glint of gold and silver was synonymous with wealth and power. Historians like Herodotus trace the origin of coins, those tangible pieces of precious metal, back to 6th century BC Lydia. Fast forward to the 1700s, and these metals still dominated the monetary scene. But there was a catch: the finite nature of these precious resources. As economies grew and trade flourished, there simply wasn't enough coinage to facilitate transactions, leading to an economic chokehold and a resurgence of bartering. Across the Atlantic, the coin crisis was even more pronounced. Colonial America, devoid of its own significant gold or silver reserves, found itself in a monetary quagmire. British currency was scarce, and foreign coins, while abundant, weren't a stable solution. This dire shortage birthed a plethora of alternative currencies, from the tangible like furs, rice and tobacco, to the more abstract, like the clamshell-derived wampum beads. These beads weren't just popular, they became legal tender in several colonies, a testament to their widespread acceptance. But amidst this monetary chaos, how did the banks of the era function? The early banking system was straightforward. One could deposit their coins, often with a goldsmith, and in return, receive a paper note signifying ownership. These notes soon became a form of currency themselves. Bankers, always with an eye for profit, realized they could lend out a portion of their stored coins, charging interest and thus multiplying their wealth. But this system had its vulnerabilities. A sudden mass withdrawal could cripple a bank, leaving it bankrupt, its reserves depleted, and its reputation in tatters. The goldsmiths and early bankers knew that their success hinged on two things: political stability and a healthy reserve. But England's stance on money lending was far from progressive. Usury, or lending money at interest, was not just frowned upon, it was a crime punishable by the most gruesome of methods. London in this era was a melting pot of cultures and ideas. Its streets buzzed with activity, and its skyline was dotted with new constructions, rising from the ashes of the Great Fire of 1666. But beneath this veneer of progress lay a financial crisis. King William III, embroiled in European wars, was cash-strapped. His kingdom's poor repayment history meant traditional lenders were wary. In a bid to raise funds, a government-backed lottery was introduced. John Law, a gambler by profession, was critical of this move. He believed governments shouldn't promote gambling, a stance shaped by his own near brush with debtors' prison. Law's keen observations revealed more than just the Crown's fiscal irresponsibility. The nation's coinage system was archaic. Coins, some over a century old, varied wildly in weight and size, thanks to clipping, where shavings of metal were removed, reducing their intrinsic value. The monetary chaos led to inflated prices, frequent disputes, and a return to bartering. Attempts to introduce new tamper-proof coins only exacerbated the problem, as they were hoarded or sent abroad. For Law, these tumultuous times were a masterclass in economics. He realized that a nation's prosperity was intrinsically linked to its monetary stability. The desperate king, in need of funds for his military, sanctioned a myriad of schemes, many dubious at best. But it was another Scotsman, William Paterson, who would propose a solution that would catch the king's eye. In the bustling trade centres of Amsterdam and Venice, a revolutionary idea was taking shape. Imagine a bank, not just any bank, but one funded by a vast number of private investors. The plan? The money amassed would be lent to the king, and for 11 years, at a rate of 8%, the government would stand as the guarantor, ensuring every penny would be repaid. In return, depositors were handed banknotes. These weren't just ordinary notes. They bore a promise: present it, and you shall receive gold or silver coin anytime, anywhere. This wasn't just a fleeting concept. Founded in 1694, this institution, a testament to innovation, still stands tall today. This is what we know today as the Bank of England. While all of this place was taking place, John Law's life took a very different direction. In the heart of London, a carriage pulls up to Bloomsbury Square. Earlier that day, a quarrel over a woman named Miss Lawrence at the Fountain Tavern set the stage for a duel between Law and Edward Wilson, one of London's most flamboyant figures. With a single strike, Law's life changed forever. Arrested and tried for murder, he faced the notorious Judge Salathier Lovell in a courtroom where justice was perhaps for sale. Though dueling was seen as honourable, Law's fate seemed sealed. But connections matter. An appeal to the king, a prison escape, and Law was on the run. There's very little records to what happened to Law over the next 20 years. We do know that he gambled in France and was seen womanizing all over Holland and Italy. Law's journey was one of wealth, connections, and a keen eye on Europe's economic pulse. Amsterdam's banking system caught Law's attention. Its paper money system, backed by the intrinsic value of coins, was revolutionary. Law saw potential. Potential for a system where paper money was preferred over coins, where value was assured. While paper money wasn't new, Amsterdam's prudence stood out. No mass circulation without metal reserves, a system that inspired trust. In Paris, Law's life took another turn. Catherine Knowles, a woman of noble birth and beauty, caught his eye. She was also an experienced gambler. Their love story, filled with scandal and elopement, would become legendary. But Law's true passion? Finance. In Venice, he studied the exchange of currency, the power of paper credit, and began formulating his grand economic theories. Law would spend his time at the Rialto, the financial and commercial heart of Venice. He watched as people eagerly exchanged their hard coins for paper, a testament to the growing trust in paper credit. For Law, money wasn't just a medium of exchange, it was a subject of intrigue, much like a scientist views a new discovery. Just as scientists unraveled the mysteries of nature and mathematics, Law dreamt of experimenting with a nation's wealth, of understanding the true essence of money. A decade later, Law found himself back in Scotland with a proposal for Queen Anne, an essay titled On a Land Bank, where he pitched the idea of paper money backed by land value. To Law, land was stable, unlike the fluctuating value of precious metals, but the Queen and her advisors were skeptical. A gambler with a tainted past, could he really be trusted with the nation's economy? Undeterred, Law adapted his proposal for Scotland, a nation reeling from economic setbacks. He penned a detailed pamphlet, laying out his vision to rejuvenate the Scottish economy. Through posters, he communicated his ideas, choosing anonymity, perhaps to shield his controversial reputation. Yet those in the know recognized Law's hand behind the proposal. His ideas sparked fierce debates, so intense that two lawmakers even duelled over them. But Scotland wasn't ready for Law's vision. They chose union with England over his monetary reforms. Rejected yet resolute, Law took his ideas to Vienna, only to face another rejection. But he wasn't one to be easily deterred. His gaze now turned to France, a nation ripe for economic revolution, and John Law was just the visionary to ignite that change. We're in 1709 and France, Europe's largest nation, is on its knees. Starvation, debt, and a treasury in shambles. John Law saw the problem as a lack of money and trade. His solution? A national bank with paper money. In Paris, Law's ideas found an audience, especially with Philippe, Duke of Orléans. And when the throne went to a child, Orléans became regent, and Law's bank became a reality. In 1716, Law founded the private Banque Générale. But the bank faced challenges. A plot by competitors nearly brought it down, but with the regent's support it flourished. Royal patronage was a powerful endorsement. Soon, Law's banknotes became more trusted than coins. Law's ambitions grew. He took control of the Louisiana colony, forming the Mississippi Company. This vast territory, stretching thousands of miles, was now under his influence. The Mississippi Company's shares became the talk of Paris. Law's maneuvers, like requiring ownership of old shares to buy new ones, fueled a speculative frenzy. Everyone, from aristocrats to pickpockets, was caught in the whirlwind. Stories of sudden wealth were everywhere. Even the term millionaire was coined, but not all that glittered was gold. Louisiana, marketed as a land of riches, was struggling. Many who ventured there returned disenchanted or perished. Desperate to populate the colony, Law resorted to drastic measures. Criminals, vagabonds, and even the unemployed were forcibly shipped to Louisiana. Back in Paris, the bank's success was built on shaky ground. Easy loans and overissued banknotes were a ticking time bomb. By December 1719, signs of trouble emerged. The stock price dipped, and Law's attempts to control it only fueled the chaos. Across the Channel, England's South Sea Company bubble was inflating, drawing investors away from the Mississippi Company. Paris was on edge. Riots, a bubonic plague outbreak, and the South Sea bubble's collapse added to the turmoil. In a desperate bid to restore confidence, Law organized public bonfires to burn excess banknotes and shares, but it backfired. The bank's collapse was imminent. People were desperate, and the city was in chaos. By December 1720, Law, once the savior of France's economy, was on the run. Penniless and vilified, he returned to his roots as a gambler. His fortunes dwindled, and by 1725 he became a spy for the British Crown, a shadow of the financial genius who once held the fate of nations in his hands. In 1729, John Law, the man who once held the fate of France's economy, met a quiet end in Venice, succumbing to pneumonia. Law's story is not just a tale of ambition and downfall, but a treasure trove of economic lessons. From his story, we glean insights into the very nature of money, its role as a store of value and medium of exchange. We witness the dangers of speculative bubbles, the interplay of credit availability, and the sway of interest rates on asset prices. The ripple effects of a booming stock market, combined with low interest rates, can be seen influencing other sectors, like real estate. Before Law's interventions, the scarcity of coinage forced people into barter, highlighting the challenges of a tight money supply. But beyond economics, Law's life offers personal lessons. From a reckless gambler, he transformed into a student of probability, always playing the odds. His adventurous spirit took him across Europe, to cities pulsating with ideas and opportunities. Everywhere he went, Law forged connections with the influential, ensuring his ideas found the right ears. He was also a master of optics, using advertising and public displays to gain trust and promote his ventures. John Law's story is a testament to ambition, innovation, and the intricate dance of economics. A tale that reminds us of the power of ideas, connections, and the unpredictable currents of fortune. Thank you for watching.